Another one bites the dust. I heard whisperings of a rumour that the beloved Loewe puzzle bag was going to be discontinued. A bag that in only February of this year, Harper's Bazaar hailed as a hero. Well, guess what? Turns out that those rumours are true. I posted this on my story and quite a few people came back and were like, I've spoken to SAs about it, it's been confirmed. Basically, it seems as though once this batch of puzzle bags are sold, they're not going to be restocked. Okay, so I thought that we need to have a chat about this. And what does this mean in general? I am annoyed, okay, because these luxury brands keep doing this to us, and I've had enough. So, the puzzle bag that we know and love was launched in 2015 by Jonathan Anderson, who is still creative director, okay? And it's become, within that time, a sort of modern classic, you know? It's it's probably the most classic bag from Loewe that the majority of people know. You have the Arizona, but like, Amazona? I think that's what it's called. Exactly. It doesn't leave that much of an impression. But the puzzle bag sort of, you know, fulfills the everyday needs of an easy crossbody bag with versatility. It's got a top handle, it's got a longer strap, but in an interesting way with its sort of origami, you know, like detailing, hence the name, the puzzle bag. Comes in a number of colours, different types of leather, different variations and colour combinations and all of that. And what's interesting about the puzzle bag is it has, I believe, 75 separate pieces of leather are used to construct this bag that takes 9 hours to hand make in Madrid. All of this is important to keep it in the back of your mind. Now, I really feel in recent years that the popularity of this bag has shot up even more than before. You know, it's something that people talk about. Loewe is also the hottest brand of Q2 2023, as correctly predicted by me. That's not what today's about, Cassie. So with the rise in popularity of the brand, the bag was popular before the brand has been like having its moment, right? But you would think with the rise in popularity of the brand, that would carry along and impact the rise in popularity for its most classic sought after pieces, cough cough, the Loewe puzzle bag. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're gonna love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. So apparently its imposter / replacement is the puzzle edge. So I want to go through the main differences between these two bags with you. And if you look at the website now, you've really got to have a bit of an eagle eye because they're not calling out this is the puzzle and this is the puzzle edge, okay? You have to really be looking to see the differences. So with the puzzle bag, you have these separate pieces of the puzzle with gaps in between, okay? It creates a slouchy effect. And then if you look at the edge, it seems to be one continuous piece of leather. There are no gaps and the pieces sort of overlap each other to create that puzzle effect. But what happens is that the bag looks a lot more structured. You lose the slouch because of the construction of it. Now, in terms of price, because I know that quite a few people were saying that the edge is more expensive than the original, but actually it's not. It's more a difference in the type of leather. So, for example, here we have the classic calfskin in the original, £2,400, and in the edge, the same price, also in the classic calfskin. But, also this is the small size, if we compare the small of the classic to the satin calfskin, £400 difference between that. Another example for you, the mini in the classic calfskin, 1,750 in the original style, same price in the edge. So there's actually, they're not changing the price of the bag with the difference between sort of the original or the edge. From what I have learned, and this is just from what people are telling me, you know, let's throw the word alleged in there. I can't be dealing with a lawsuit. But I've heard that the edge is a lot faster to create, it's a lot less complicated to create, Again, 75 pieces of leather it takes to create the original puzzle. You're cutting that down by a lot, I'm sure. It's also cheaper to make, which means that they're cutting costs, increasing margins, all of that business. Here's the thing. When we talk about luxury, Loewe is a luxury brand, we're paying thousands for these pieces. I don't necessarily want simplicity. Okay, there are certain brands that you go to for simplicity, but when you have something like the puzzle bag, its complexity is its selling point. That is the DNA of the bag. It works with so much, yet it's so interesting. To cut down on that complexity means that it loses some of that luxuriousness as well. I don't want luxury to be easy. I don't want to know that if I had the time and the resources, I could do a decent job myself, you know? You want something that's what you're paying for. You're paying for craftsmanship and the time and all of that, and the complexity is luxurious. I mean, we've seen this being pulled by a number of brands recently, even not so recently. If we take things back to when Chanel decided that they were going to stop doing gold-plated hardware, and now it's metal tone hardware to cut costs and increase margins. If you even look at like Louis Vuitton, who I think, you know, have a streak of self-sabotage, have taken something like the Louis Vuitton bum bag, a, you know, decently popular bag, people were after it, they pulled it, decided to give it some updates, which basically involved adding more leather to it, and they've actually done sort of the opposite of Loewe. They added a little bit more complexity, even though nobody asked for it, and put it back on at a much higher price. So this isn't something that we are new to, but I sort of didn't expect this from Loewe. And look, I'm sitting here, I don't know the ins and outs of the supply chain, I don't know how much they're saving and doing by all of this. This might make the best, you know, decision, business sense or whatever, but as a consumer it does leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. And as I was saying before, this sort of seems strange because this is one of Loewe's core pieces. This is something that if you say, you know, the name Loewe on the street, these are one of the, you know, the top pieces that comes to people's minds. But maybe it's not as popular as we've been led to believe, right? I'm sort of trying to think of, I've seen the odd one in some sales, that's maybe not a great sign. I've also seen the odd one in outlets, never the monochromatic ones, always like a colour combination. But maybe also that's a sign, maybe it just wasn't doing as well, and they're like, okay, we've got two of these, we've got to pick one, let's go with the most expensive. And also, turns out that we're cutting costs by producing that one. And I don't know, you sort of expect this sort of behaviour from other brands, right? Other brands have been doing this and like we've become a bit immune to it. But for Loewe, it's sort of, I don't know, it's a bit of a spanner in the works for me. I sort of found it to be a bit off-brand, especially because Loewe is one of those luxury fashion houses that craftsmanship is a pillar of their brand. You look at when they've done the basket bags with local artisans, and they're always so true to the fact that a leather goods business is how they started, that's where their talents lie, and that's where they put their attention to detail. And Jonathan Anderson even said, as a house, we are about craft in the purest sense of the word. This is where our modernity lies, and it will always be relevant. Will it? I don't know when he said that. If the craftsmanship is still of top priority, then why are you pulling something that takes more craftsmanship for something that doesn't? You know? I mean, if you go on their website, they have an entire section called Craft, Our Commitment to Craft. Loewe's legacy of craftsmanship remains the living soul of the house, reflected in our ongoing commitment to support contemporary art, craft and design around the world. They have the Craft Prize. Artisans are the lifeblood of the company. Our master craftsmen combine traditional techniques with novel technologies. It just doesn't seem like the right move. Now, I might be very wrong here. I might be jumping to conclusions, right? For all we know, they might be pulling it for reasons that have nothing to do with cost cutting. But because we're so used to luxury brands doing it and making these sorts of decisions for that purpose, That's the jump that your mind naturally makes. It's just one more sort of blow that we as luxury consumers seem to be dealing with, okay? It's like, okay, great, so they're cutting costs, so does everybody else. We've got quality issues left, right and centre. It's like we're batting them away at this point. You know, what's next? What does the future of luxury look like? Because amongst all of this, you've then got price increases. And it's like, yes, you wish for me to pay more for less. And, you know, some of us, me, I'm coming at myself here, seem to still be doing it. I don't know. I'm married to the game. I'm married to the game. There is this sort of attitude when it comes to the really big brands that they can sort of get away with whatever because people will still buy, right? They still have the clout behind them of the name and the history and all of that. And whilst some of us are really put off and will now be like, do you want to know what? I'm not going to buy any of the big names. I am going to shift my focus to smaller, more emerging brands who are putting more focus on craftsmanship and quality and all of that. Or turning to the pre-loved market, like, you know, I still love the brand, but I loved the quality 5-10 years ago. And something else that a few of these luxury brands have started to do with their price increases to sort of make things a little bit more palatable is introduce a sort of warranty or repair service that goes along with it, right? So, for example, Bottega recently introduced lifetime warranty. Bottega actually is one of those that's, you know, quality-wise, you're off to the races sort of thing. But they've introduced lifetime warranty from their pieces purchased after a certain point. Was it last year? I think it was after a certain point last year. You know, that gives you quality assurance in a world where we're having quality issues left, right and centre. That gives me a bit of comfort. And, oh yeah, there's been a price increase, but it means that for the rest of my life, if something happens, I can always bring it in, blah, 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 okay? Chanel introduced like a 5-year warranty for their classic flaps. And all other bags and wallets on chain. I mean, 5 years versus Bottega's lifetime. And it's almost that, like, so all of these things are complementary, right? So they, you know, you get it when you buy the bag, so is it really free? But anyway, but it sort of helps to ease the mind and justify these sorts of purchases, right? When these things should be happening anyway. Isn't that sort of the point of buying luxury, is that, you know, it's meant to last you forever, and you should be able to take it in if you've got any issues, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that was my little rant as another one bites the dust with Loewe. What are your thoughts? I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And in the words of my father...
If you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.